I had a personal training client run into a little bit of trouble on the OMAD diet. See, initially he was doing amazing. He lost a little over 20 pounds in 3 months. But then when he went for his annual physical with his doctor and they ran his blood work, it turned out that he was low in potassium. He was also low in vitamin D. See, his doctor though was really happy. When he walked in the door, he was like 20 pounds lighter and also had improvements in his cholesterol numbers. But when it came to his potassium, his doctor said, you know, you were never low on potassium before. You were never low on vitamin D. So his doctor wanted him to start eating more food and maybe just give up the 1 meal a day diet. So in this video, first let me tell you more about my client, exactly what he was doing, and then we'll talk about what I had him change in his diet and how I had him do the OMAD diet a little differently, and it really increased his potassium and it solved the problem. And my client was a 60-year-old guy. He coming to my gym 2 to 3 times a week, liked to work out, lifting weights all the time. He always wanted to lose weight, but he never really wanted to change his diet. So just from working out with me, he did lose about 5 pounds, but he really wanted to lose about 20, 25 pounds. So when it came to picking a diet for him, we decided to go with the 1 meal a day diet. Why I picked that diet for him is that he didn't really want to change the foods he was eating too much. He kind of liked his diet, eating steak, you know, he did like vegetables, but he was just eating too much. So when it came to picking like a strategy, I thought the OMAD diet would really fit for him. So I wanted him to fast for 23 hours a day and then have one big meal for an hour, like have a nice big dinner. You know, during the day, he would do the typical things that intermittent fasting people do. He can drink black coffee, he can drink green tea. I want him to drink a lot of mineral type water to keep himself hydrated, but really take in no calories until his 1 hour eating window. But I didn't want him to do this every single day. I wanted him to do it maybe 2, 3 times a week. But this guy was somewhat of an A personality, a real driven guy. So he just decided without really telling me that he was gonna do it every single day. And this is one thing I do find, and it's exactly what happened to him. I find that if you do the OMAD diet with only a 1 hour eating window every single day, you're gonna be low in potassium, you're gonna be probably low in magnesium, you're also gonna be low in protein. I don't think you can take in enough vitamins and minerals and nutrients if you're only eating 1 meal a day long term. I mean, you can probably do it for a few weeks, maybe even a month or 2, but he actually did it for 3 months. See, there was a warning sign that I should have picked up on, but I was asking him, are you taking days off? You're not doing it every day. And he's told me, no, Mike, I'm not doing it every day. See, what I noticed with him is that as he was losing weight, maybe about 2.5 or like at that 3-month point, all of a sudden, he started getting a little weaker in the gym. And this is what I initially thought. I thought that, you know, he lost 20 pounds. It's almost impossible, you know, when you lose 20 pounds, not to lose a little bit of muscle mass. But he really was about 15 to 20% weaker the last couple of weeks, three months in. So I should have picked up on it. He probably wasn't eating enough protein and that he was probably low in potassium, because when you're low in potassium, you're going to start getting tired. So here are the changes we made to his whole program. See, he really wanted to stick to only eating like 1 meal a day, because he was afraid that if you started eating more than 1 meal a day, you'd gain all the weight back. I find that's a common thing. Once people find something that works, they're afraid to give it up. He really had to make a change at this point. So this is what I wanted him to do. I said, instead of just giving yourself a 1 hour eating window, I want you to switch over to a 2 hour eating window. And that what I want you to do initially is first have a small meal that's going to be really high in potassium, and it's also going to be high in protein. Have that meal first, wait an hour and a half, and then have your big dinner. But I wanted him to include specific food in that pre-meal, that small meal that are really high in potassium, high in protein. One thing I wanted him to have every single day is the celery juice. I drink these almost every single day. This celery juice has 35 calories and 980 milligrams of potassium. See, the adequate intake for potassium is 4,700 milligrams, which is a lot. Just to give you a comparison, a banana which is 100 calories, only has 400 milligrams of potassium. And people think a banana is a high potassium food, which it is to some degree, but nothing compared to 16 ounces of celery juice. Just think, this celery juice is about a third the calories and like 2.5 times the amount of potassium. So I wanted him to drink one of these in his pre-meal. The other thing I wanted him to do was to eat an avocado every single day. This avocado has about 700-800 milligrams of potassium right there. And another thing I wanted him to do was to increase his protein, and also salmon is really high in potassium, is to have maybe 4 to 6 ounces of smoked salmon. I'm gonna link up like the exact meal I really want him to have. So if he had celery juice, an avocado, and maybe 4 to 6 ounces of salmon, he's gonna be getting like 2,500 milligrams of potassium right there, taking him another 30-40 grams of protein. That alone, I think, is gonna pretty much fix the problem. Then he's gonna wait an hour and a half. He's gonna have his normal dinner. I said, just make sure you're having your proteins and your vegetables. He was a steak guy. He loved eating steak, which I think is totally fine. I did want him to buy the grass-fed, grass-finished steaks. I want him to pick 2 different colored vegetables for dinner, but he also has some junk food and some other things as well, but it was working for him great. And then I also wanted him to not do this every single day. You know, I really made him like give me an oath that only do this OMAD diet, you know, maybe 3, 4, 5 days a week at the most. You got to take 2-3 days off. You're still going to be in a calorie deficit. You're still going to lose weight, but don't do it every single day. And he agreed that he would do it. His doctor, you know, really motivated him to do it. And I think that's a great strategy for everyone. Well, like when I personally do the OMAD diet, very rarely do I only give myself a 1-hour eating window. I like to call the OMAD diet the 1.5 meal diet. We're eating one small meal. And I actually post my meals when I do this all the time on my Instagram account. Look me up, you know, 𝙒𝘾𝙃 on Instagram. I post my meals all the time. I'll post my like pre-OMAD meal, which is just like what I was talking about. I'll typically have maybe some smoked salmon or some sardines with an avocado and one of these celery green drinks. And you can buy these green drinks everywhere. I get this one at Whole Foods. It's typically $4.99, which is somewhat expensive, but Whole Foods puts these on sale constantly, 2 for $7. So you can get these for about $3.50. I buy a whole case whenever they were on sale. And then I typically wait my hour and a half, and then I have my big meal on my OMAD days. And actually, he started doing this. And I have to say, he did it most days. He did it probably like 6 days a week, but I didn't mind it because he definitely was increasing his calories, increasing his potassium, increasing his protein. And we also put him on a vitamin D supplement as well. And I also want him to take a multivitamin. I like Alive, Men's Alive Plus 50. I did a video about them. He started taking a multivitamin. He started taking vitamin D. I think he was taking about 5,000 of vitamin D, D3, and then he started changing his diet by increasing his potassium and protein. And I have to say, the first thing I noticed, it took a couple of months, his strength came right back. He hasn't had his blood work done yet again, but I think he will. His doctor wasn't overly concerned. He said, me, come back in 3 months. He said, next year for your physical, we'll do your blood work again, eat a little bit more food, and hopefully everything, your numbers will fall back in line. And I'm assuming his numbers are already back, because he's so much stronger in the gym. He feels better. I think he said too that his energy levels were better too. He also, and I should have picked up on this too, he also was telling me 3 months ago that he also had started having trouble sleeping a little bit. These are all signs. He was getting weaker in the gym. He wasn't sleeping well. He was a little tired. I should have picked up on it, that he was low in potassium, maybe low in protein, and maybe not listening to me and doing the OMAD diet every day. So if you're doing the OMAD diet, don't overdo it. If you want to do the OMAD diet every single day, do 1.5 meals like I just talked about, and don't go more than 4 or 5 weeks and then just take a diet break. Take like a week or 2 off, up your calories, eat 2-3 meals a day, and then you go right back to the OMAD diet. It's a much better long-term strategy. Don't run into trouble. Now, if you want to learn more about the OMAD diet, I got a number of videos on my channel. Check out this video. I really outline like a great meal plan if you want to do the OMAD diet.